So yes, man, your beauty, you have this beauty in you, your natural nobility. But oh, what a dreadful fight does St. George have against the dragon. And doesn't it breathe fire? And your trusty lance, well, you have to make your lance very pure to get rid of the beast. Inside yourself first. You must purify your lance, or it'll just be an ordinary lance. It will never kill the dragon, because the dragon is immortal. So you have to purify your lance, and you know what your lance is? Well, you know, people don't talk about this, do they? Because the world is made by the sexual beast, and it doesn't like to face the fact of all the truth of all the myths of man and woman. Your lance is your penis. And unless your penis is made pure, by getting the sex out of it, it won't have the power to kill the dragon that breathes fire and causes all the unhappiness on earth. And then, only then, when you kill the dragon and purify your penis, which is your probe, your rightful probe into the subconscious of woman, when you purify that, getting rid gradually, not despairing, being noble, when you get rid of that, when you enter a woman, you can love her. You can take the beast out of her. And that is not easy. It is a terrible task to take yourself out of a woman. It fights like hell. It fights like you are, with the same strength as you are. It is appalling. While underneath it, the woman screams. Well, the woman first of all screams as the beast. Your own self in her screams, its sexuality screams at you with emotion, accusing you, throwing things at you. Appalling look on the face, an ugliness that is beyond all description as the emotion comes up in her, as yourself appears in her face, and her eyes go stinking red, and her face contorted with this dreadful alien which is myself in her, the sex in her. You wonder how she could ever exist outside of hell. Well, she doesn't, because that's hell rising in her. And she screams every sort of vehemence at you, with all the strength she's got of her lances of sex, called emotion. And yet underneath, if she's a real woman, if she's woman enough, underneath this very, very subtle voice cries, very subtle, behind this screaming virago, it's not me. Please, don't believe it. It's not me. That's how bad it is, man. She attacks you, does everything to you because it's yourself. And yet she says it's not me. So you do indeed have to be a noble man. You have to have some divine purpose in your life, or you go under, and you compromise with her, and you compromise with her sexuality. And she compromises with you, and you live a sort of happy life together. God help us. But you men are not here for that. You are the noble man. You are the only hope. Otherwise, it just goes on and on. That's all right. That's all right. It just goes on and on. It's only a physical dream. It disappears every night. It disappears when you die. But my God, it doesn't disappear from this perception. On and on it goes forever and ever. And the game is to kill the dragon. And that's what you're doing with your nobility, man. And don't you doubt it in yourself. Because if you doubt it in yourself, your nobility, you'll make the woman doubt. I have to be strong inside myself, or the woman gets doubtful. That's how it works. And if she gets doubtful, she gets emotional. So I have to hold against the demon in me. I have to have an authority that goes beyond any authority of man or the world. A real authority, a divine authority, if you like. I have to have that, and yet that no person can have a divine authority. It has to be linked with a nobility of purpose, with God, what I call God, which is inside every man and woman here. And then you, woman, you have to help get rid of the sexuality out of man, the beast out of him, so that he can help to get rid of the beast out of you. But I tell you first, man, woman has no hope. You're her hope. Are you getting this right, man? You're her hope. She cannot do it on her own. She can do so much. But she must have man to love her. She must have the knight to save her from yourself. She's all right, but she has no weapons against this awful alien, which is my sexuality that I have put into her. It makes her emotional, and when she's emotional, I can't love her. And yet, I have to be able to love her through her emotion and not be attached to my own position. And yet I've got to be firm with her when it is right to be firm. I have to have tremendous strength and discrimination. I have to indeed be a knight. A man mentioned the other day, what about chivalry? Am I talking chivalry now? My God, I'm talking chivalry. But not a Christian chivalry, not an adjectival chivalry, but a chivalry of being man. That is, man's very nobility is chivalry. To save her. From whom? From myself. Remembering that there is only she and me and the alien, myself. Sex. That's all that's here. That's all that divides us. That's all that pollutes the earth. That's all that is polluting the children. That's all. So please don't try inventing anything else, man. It is my sexuality that has ruined the earth and ruined woman. That's all. Now don't run from it. Face it. You must face the dragon in yourself first. And then it dissolves. It wasn't a dragon at all. All you had to do was truly face it. And what was yourself turns into me. All that energy that you've been wasting to produce a dragon, when you refuse to give it to it, your being. When you refuse to give it anything, it evaporates, and the energy needed to sustain it returns as power, as nobility, as rightness, the ability to love. So remember, you can't do it all at once. It takes time. You have to practice. But you must not get frustrated with yourself. And yet you mustn't give up on facing yourself. You mustn't be discouraged, for discouragement is its favorite weapon. to make you emotional and self-doubting, you feed the other. You will then think that you need sexual release when you don't need sexual release at all. That's something that's been planted in your brain by other men and women possessed by sex. You don't need sexual release. What you need is love. And if you are noble and right and true to love, woman to love always comes. For there is nothing more that woman loves than the noble man. Nothing. So are you ready for it, man? People often say, in their ignorance, that I put it on man, that I favour woman. What is what I've been saying? Is that favouring woman? Or is that just the truth of what you are and what you desire to be more than anything on earth? Of course it is. This is our world. We made it. And we're not going to change it. But in this cell, in this body, speaking these words, and in this cell of that body, listening these words, in that cell and this cell of the great body of humanity, of consciousness of humanity, it makes a difference.